84 AD, the Roman Empire at its peak. The Eternal City stood as the jewel of civilization, its power unrivaled, its dominion stretching across vast lands. At its heart lay the Colosseum, an amphitheater where blood and spectacle wove together to entertain the masses. It was a time of great conquest, a time when Rome's mightiest warriors clashed in battle for honor and survival, their fates decided by the whims of emperors and the roaring approval of thousands. Yet, unknown to them, another warrior had come. Not from the lands of the barbarians or the distant reaches of Africa, but from beyond the stars. A fiery comet streaked across the sky, unnoticed by many, dismissed as an omen of the gods. But it was no celestial sign. In the forest beyond Rome, a ship descended, its massive structure obscured by the shadows of towering pines. Its occupant, a hunter unmatched in skill and ferocity, emerged into the night. The predator had come. Not as an invader, not as a conqueror, but as a hunter. It had tracked warriors across the galaxies, testing itself against the deadliest foes. Now it had turned its gaze to Rome, the strongest empire of its time. And within its mighty arena, the hunter would face warriors who had survived countless battles, gladiators forged in the crucible of war. Tonight, the Colosseum would become a battleground beyond the reckoning of man. The Colosseum, its stone walls rising like a monument to Rome's thirst for blood, was alive with the thunder of voices. Tens of thousands gathered, their cheers and jeers echoing beneath the open sky. Nobles and peasants alike filled the seats, their eyes fixed upon the golden throne of Emperor Domitian, who sat in the imperial box, surrounded by his closest advisors and consorts. He smiled with satisfaction. Tonight's event was meant to be a grand spectacle, a contest of Rome's greatest gladiators against an unknown creature brought from the distant lands of Africa. A beast unlike any Rome had ever seen. The gates of the arena trembled, the iron bars groaning as they slid open. The gladiators stepped forward, their armor gleaming under the sun, their weapons held firm. These were no common fighters. They were the veterans of the arena, champions of past battles who had defied death time and time again. Aelius the Titan, a behemoth of a man wielding a massive scutum and gladius. Chaiso the Shadow, a swift retiarius, his weighted net and trident ready to ensnare any foe. Crixus and Decimus, the twin blades of Rome, fighting side by side with curved swords. Magnus the Unbroken, the oldest and most experienced, a veteran of countless battles, his war-worn shield scarred but still unyielding. They had fought lions, they had faced war elephants, they had battled men larger and stronger than themselves, but never had they faced something not of this world. A second gate groaned open on the opposite side. From its depths stepped the predator. Silence fell over the Colosseum. The beast was taller than any man, its armor dark, its face hidden beneath a metallic mask with strange engravings. It carried no sword, no shield, only a pair of curved wrist blades glinting under the light. The gladiators tightened their grips. The battle was about to begin. Aelius the Titan, the largest of the gladiators, stepped forward first. He raised his shield high, roaring a battle cry. His charge was like a battering ram, his gladius aiming straight for the beast's heart. The predator did not move until the last possible moment. Then, with inhuman speed, it sidestepped. Before Aelius could react, a razor-sharp wrist blade sliced through his side, cutting through armor and flesh. The warrior staggered, blood spilling onto the sand. The crowd gasped. Chaiso the Shadow seized the moment. His net flew through the air, aiming to entangle the monster. The predator did not flinch. It raised an arm, catching the net mid-flight, and with a single pull, ripped it apart as though it were mere cloth. Chaiso barely had time to react before the predator lunged forward. A flash of silver, the wrist blades plunged deep into his chest. The retiarius collapsed, lifeless. The sand beneath him darkened with his blood. Panic flickered in the eyes of the remaining gladiators. But they were warriors. Fear was not in their nature. Decimus and Crixus attacked together, their curved blades slashing in tandem. The predator blocked one strike with its gauntlet, dodged another, and then countered with a brutal backhand, sending Decimus crashing into the ground. Crixus, undeterred, swung for the beast's throat. The blade scraped against the predator's armor but failed to cut deep. In return, the hunter delivered a devastating kick to the gladiator's ribs, sending him sprawling. Decimus barely had time to rise before the predator was upon him, its blades piercing through his chest. The gladiator let out a final ragged breath before collapsing. Only Magnus and Crixus remained. The Colosseum, once deafening with cheers, was now filled with only the crackling torches and the heavy breathing of the last warriors standing. Crixus lunged again, fueled by rage and desperation. The predator sidestepped the attack and with a fluid motion, decapitated him with a single sweep of its blades. Magnus, Rome's last hope, held his shield firm. He did not run, he did not surrender. He was the last warrior of the arena. The predator paused, tilting its head. This one had earned its respect. With a slow, deliberate motion, it retracted its wrist blades. It would not kill this one with steel. It would fight him as a warrior should, with its bare hands. Magnus understood the challenge. With a deep breath, he lowered his shield and tightened his grip on his sword. The last duel of the night had begun. Magnus struck first, his blade flashing in the firelight. The predator dodged, countering with a crushing blow to the gladiator's ribs. Magnus staggered but did not fall. He fought on, each strike fueled by years of survival and battle. For a moment, it seemed as if Rome's champion might triumph. But the predator was faster, stronger, unrelenting. A final, brutal punch sent Magnus crashing to the ground. His sword slipped from his grasp. Defeated, he looked up as the predator towered over him. The hunter raised its arm, then stopped. With something akin to honor, it did not deliver the killing blow. Instead, it turned, walking away. Magnus was spared. The hunt was over. The Colosseum stood silent. Even Emperor Domitian, known for his cruelty, watched in stunned disbelief. Then slowly he rose to his feet and clapped. The crowd followed, their voices a mix of awe and terror. The predator turned toward the heavens. A moment later, a blinding pillar of light engulfed it. In an instant, it was gone. For centuries, the tale of the demon of the Colosseum was whispered among Rome's people. Some called it a god, others a curse. But deep beneath the ruins of the Colosseum, in the forgotten tunnels where the bodies of the fallen lay, one thing remained: a skull, unlike any beast ever known to Earth. A trophy, left behind by the greatest hunter in the galaxy. A final trophy. And somewhere beyond the stars, the hunt continued.